Hi everyone, it's Giselle with another dream message for today. This tends to happen to me quite a lot. I won't dream for a bit, and then all my dream messages will come one after the other, only days apart, because I will dream all of my messages pretty much at the same time. And I'm not surprised because we had a full moon in Taurus only a couple of nights ago. So that energy is still very high. And yeah, that's where that residual energy came from to get me dream very, very strongly. And the dream that I had was that I was abroad for some reason, which rarely happens, but here we are. And I dreamt that my twin asked to see me. And I told him what time I would be home. And he actually drove all the way to see me and waited in his car for hours. And I didn't turn up until the day later because my flight was delayed. And I felt so guilty in the dream. I thought, oh my God, I can't believe he waited so long and I wasn't there. And that I had to sheepishly contact him and say how sorry I was. But then it wasn't very evident to me in the dream why I had dreamt that. So I took, again, a whole day to try and understand why I had dreamt the things that I did, because at the time they were just so strange to me. And something I hadn't really dreamt before, I think I'm kind of recalling that now, is his mother said to me that he was really keen to see me. And that was unusual. I remember dreaming about his family in a different way before. I remember being at a beach and he was there and his dad was there. But this time it was his mum, and she said how he was really looking forward to seeing me. And I interpret this as the mother representing the female aspect of him, the female energy of him being more vulnerable and being more open. Because this is something I've really wanted for us, is to actually be very vulnerable and open in our communication. And although he has started to open up more, it's not quite where it needs to be. He's still trying to keep up some sort of, I don't know, keeping face, I guess, upholding his reputation. But I feel that we could do with so much more vulnerability and openness in our connection, honesty and trusting. I trust him and I want him to know that he can trust me too. But of course, I'm just going to let him open up to me in his own time. There's no need to force anything. But with this dream, I felt that that was the female aspect, allowing him to be vulnerable and saying that he was really looking forward to seeing me and that he waited for me. And the waiting for me as well is very much a representation of what's going on here in real life, as he has been waiting for me. That he can't wait to see me and that he would drive miles to come and see me. And that he actually cares much, much more than he had been willing to express verbally in real life. Which I understand, because his higher self is always showing me that he cares for me deeply. But it's good to see that expressed in a dream in a very physical way of him really just sitting there waiting in the driveway in his car. I believe the car was white. And white represents purity, starting with a clean slate. There's so much symbolism, I feel, in this dream. And also the nosy neighbors waiting and looking outside like, who is that? Why are they sitting there and waiting on the driveway? I feel that that represents him not caring about other people anymore. Whereas before he felt that he didn't want people to be nosy about him. People, usually put their noses in where it doesn't belong, and he felt very uncomfortable with that before, but now it's kind of like, no, I don't care about these people anymore. They can have a nose around. I've got nothing to hide. My intentions are pure. Sitting in a white car for waiting there for hours, waiting for you for hours. So I definitely feel that from him. He was willing to wait all that time, sitting in a white car, not caring what the neighbours were going to say. That's such a change from how it's been energetically for so long. So I definitely feel that energy of you are worth the wait, and I will drive miles to come see you, and I will wait for you. Let's start with a clean slate, and let's be vulnerable and open, and express to each other that we really did miss each other during this time, that we really cannot wait to see each other again. Such a beautiful message, and I'm grateful for that dream. It's really changed the energy that I felt from him compared to how things were before. Before it was always a bit, ooh, I'm going to be very careful with my wording. I'm going to be very careful when I message you. I'm going to be very careful with what I express about myself. But this is so much more. It's really speaks to how he's becoming more open, becoming more balanced with the female part of himself, as well as the male. I feel that we were quite leaning too much towards, I identify more with the female part of me. He identified more with the male part of him. And we almost ignored I ignore my male part, and he ignored his female part. But really, in order to have this physical union, you must come into union with yourself and embrace the yin and the yang, the female and male aspects of who you are. You blend that carefully and beautifully together. I feel for a short while after meeting him, I became quite confused with my energies, with my male and female aspects. And for a little while, I tapped in way too much into my male aspect, to the point where I was too proud to cry. I was really feeling my masculinity within myself, to the point where I just didn't want to show myself up as being quote unquote weak through expressing my femininity. And I feel he struggled with that too. He initially had tapped in way too much into a sensitive side, more feminine side, and then it panicked him and he was like, no, that's not who I am. I don't want to be seen as a, pansy or whatever word he would use to describe that about himself. And so he reverted right back into being extremely masculine. But now I feel we are blending the two energies beautifully, that I've been working so hard to do that for myself, to blend in, to ensure that I wasn't too masculine. It actually expressed itself in the way that I look and dress now. Whereas before I thought, oh, I can't wear certain colours too much or guys are going to think that I'm too girly and not enough of a woman. And I'm like, no, I'm going to dress exactly how I feel. If I want to gravitate towards certain colours and certain styles, then that's me. That makes me feel good. It's honouring the divine feminine within myself to dress the way that I want to. And I've had to uncreate so many beliefs that, sadly, a lot of the beliefs I carried were from old relationships. My past 2 long-term relationships, the guys have always said, oh, we don't like baby pink on you because it makes you look too young and too girly, which is absolute nonsense. And I for a while believed that, and I gravitated toward wearing a ton of black, and, there's obviously nothing wrong with wearing these colours, but it wasn't fully me. I felt very hard, very going against my natural way of being. And so lately I've just, especially since meeting my person, have become very much more soft in the way that I am, and I feel so much more at home, just having a much more romantic feel about me, because that's who I really am, and I shouldn't hide that from the world. And I know that he will appreciate that about me. I already feel that very strongly from him, that he really loves the way that I express myself in that very soft, very feminine way. but equally have a balanced masculine side to me, especially for running my business, because I need that, to run a business, is to have a balanced masculine side. But it's to balance a delicate, interwoven feminine and masculine energy. And I feel that this dream has beautifully illustrated that. So I thought I would share it in case any of you find these helpful. Of course, I'm interested to know, have you had any crazy dreams during this full moon? This full moon has actually been quite soft and quite settling for me, which has been very soothing, actually. But I thought I would share this. Also, to let you know, I will be shortly posting my Black Friday sales. It's going to be a good one, up to 40% off readings. I'm sure some of you will be interested in that. So if you haven't already signed up to my mailing list to get early access to these, then do sign up. All the details are in the description. Otherwise, keep an eye out. I'll be posting them on my community page and also underneath my most recent videos if they are applicable for that time. So, thank you all so very much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.